Yeah, I got here this morning about probably 9:30, dropped the kids off at school, came down. I looked at the weather report, so it's going to be the hottest day of the year, so in my head I already knew that the fish were going to be on the top. Walked around, saw nothing in the margins, climbed a tree at the end of the lake, and there they were, about 15 fish, some good ones as well, just sat just under the surface. So I ran back to the van, grabbed a bucket of mixers and my stalking rod, got back in the swim, started feeding the swim. Initially a lot of seagulls came in. There was about 8 seagulls and they can only all handle about 4 or 5 mixers each normally, so I knew it wouldn't last long. And the carp started to get a bit of a look in. They were joined by a few rudd, and they weren't going mad on it, the carp, they were just sort of going around picking off the odd one. But there was one fish particularly, he'd come round in a circle, big bow wave, take one, swim off, and he was doing this quite constantly. So I got the float out past the area where he was doing it and drew it back. As the bow wave come in, I just lined up the mixer and up he come, and I hooked him first time. Big set of bubbles come up as he sunk down as he took the bait, it was great. Initially, didn't think it was a big fish, didn't take much line, just sort of hung out in deep water. But after about 2 or 3 minutes, I realised I was into one of the better fish in the lake, and thoughts of the big one started to run through my head, and I see a big old mirror roll on the surface with a massive cream belly on it, and the old legs started to wobble. But luckily everything held tight, and eventually I managed to slip it in the net. I looked in, see old Scar, probably the oldest carp in the lake, that one. Just over 39 pounds, so a PB off the top as well, so I'm well chuffed with that. Scar got her name from a big scar across her shoulder. She's probably the oldest carp in the lake. Got all them sort of twists and markings within her skin that tell a story, you know, when you look at them. She's a lovely old creature. She did behave. She got a little bit agitated, but it's a really hot day, so didn't want to keep her on the bank too long. Plenty of water over her, and the water's drying up really quick, so I made sure the photos were done right near the water's edge so I could keep her wet the whole time. But it's such a lovely carp, big red cheeks on it, really chuffed to catch it. To be honest, I treat surface fishing like I do the bottom fishing. If I turn up to a lake and they're on the top and that's how I have to catch them, that's how I'm fishing. If they're in the margins on the bottom, that's how I'm fishing. I dictate my fishing by what the fish are doing. I've got no favourite or not favourite way of catching them, I just want to catch them. Take your tactics to the fish. Don't wait, don't sit here all day thinking, oh, this evening they'll drop down and get on the bottom. If in the day they're out on the top, get your floater rod out. What you got to lose? You're only going to sit there looking at Facebook or something. Get out there, do some fishing. Yeah, I was out fishing on a feature the other week, me and Elbow, and I had the old green controllers that I used to find quite hard to see, and Elbow gave me 2 of the new ones. They've got a lot of weight to them, so you can cast them a long way, and they're white, so they're easy to see as well. And the good thing about white controllers is they blend in against the sky, so the carp don't see them as easily. So I had one of them on, £10 cruiser control line right the way through, and I rely on feeding them little and often to get them confident on the food that they ain't starting to look for hooks, you know. It's just among the floaters, so I trick them that way. A good surface controller is aerodynamic. You want something that when you cast it in a direction, is going to take that direction. Something that's visible to you, but not the fish. That's where the colour white comes in. So yeah, and maybe something that's got a little bit of weight for it. So if you've chucked the rod down and you're putting mixers out, it maybe will even self-hook for you. So that, to me, is what makes a good surface controller.